I read over 50 articles on the psychology of the top 1%, and this is what they do different. So number one is patient vision, urgent action. So this is the mindset that separates the average from the elite. Because if you're patient with your outcome but urgent with your efforts, it's not about if it's going to happen, it's when it will happen. And that is one of the most powerful traits that the top 1% have. They are so relentless in going after their goal, but they are so patient with reaching that goal. They're not in a rush to reach that goal, but they're in a rush to do the right things to get there. And that is one of the most powerful traits that the top 1% have. The ability to balance the extreme patience of their vision with relentless urgency in their efforts. Because they understand that meaningful results, whether that's building wealth, mastering a craft, or learning a skill, takes years, even decades. So they're playing the long game here. They treat every day like it matters because it does. Their big dreams require the daily actions to get them there. So they're not patient in what they do today. They are urgent in their actions to reaching that goal, but they are patient because they know they will reach that goal no matter what. So while others are hesitating and procrastinating, they start and they build momentum. They have the patience to wait for their vision, but they don't waste time while waiting. And that is the big difference. Think of Jeff Bezos. He spent decades growing Amazon, but he was relentless in his action to beat all of his competitors, and he did. Think of Serena Williams. She had the long-term goal of becoming the GOAT, and now look at her. She is so successful, and that took daily wins every single day training for that big goal. And think about Elon Musk. He's doing decades worth of work to colonize Mars while executing daily with speed. Number two is they design their life for success. So success will become the default, not the exception. So every choice, every habit, every step is aligned with their purpose because they know that every single minute counts in their day. So anything that is unaligned with them or anything that is wasting their time, they will get rid of it. Because if it doesn't serve the purpose of the goal and the final vision, then it's a distraction, and distractions need to leave. So while the average person is relaxing and scrolling on social media, the top 1% are refining, building, and growing. They've created systems to eliminate wasted time and mental clutter because they need to focus at 100% capacity. So doing this allows them to operate with clarity and purpose, and it doesn't let them get distracted. And they don't rely on motivation because they know that it's fleeting. They've made it so easy to win by designing their environment. They design their life. So they change everything around them so that progress is automatic. It's on default mode. They understand that everyone in the world gets 24 hours, but how they use it is strategic. Their life is curated for excellence, and because of that, success is not a possibility, it's inevitable. Because willpower is like your phone battery. It drains throughout the day. But when you create systems and you make everything around you automatic, it's easier to do the thing instead of you having to jump over that initial barrier. Things like setting digital barriers or preparing your meals in advance, scheduling a workout, or using productivity tools. So all of these reduce the daily decisions that the top 1% have to make, and therefore they do not have decision fatigue, which means they have a lot of free mental energy that they can use for their purpose. So when the environment and daily structure are aligned with their goals, success doesn't become about constant effort, which is tiring. It's just about being in flow. And it's no longer a daily battle to stay disciplined. It's just who they are. It's ingrained in them. Number three is they play the long game. As Bill Gates famously said, most people overestimate how much they can do in 1 year and underestimate how much they can do in 10. So while most people think about quick wins and instant gratification, the top 1% think in years, if not decades. They know that true success isn't built overnight. It's about the daily habits that you do, which will compound and get you the results that you want. And they're willing to say no to short-term temptations, things like going out on the weekend, or things like skipping a meal and having that dessert, or even mindless entertainment and spending loads of money when you don't even have it, because they have a bigger picture in mind. They understand that what feels good now often means that it steals what's best in the future So they delay gratification as much as possible, not out of punishment, but because of purpose. So instead of chasing trends, they build timeless skills. Instead of spending lots of money that they have, they save it and they invest it so that they know that it's compounding over time and making their money work for them. Instead of partying every weekend, they read, they learn, they grow. And instead of rushing success, they master patience and precision. And this mindset will show up in every single aspect of your life: career, love, relationships, money, every single part of your life. Short-term sacrifices lead to long-term financial freedom. They're not interested in looking rich and successful right now. They're interested in becoming it in the future. And that is why they know that the seeds that they plant and they nurture them over years, over decades, will bear fruit. Think of Elon Musk. He is the definition of long-term thinking. So he used all of his money from PayPal to invest in SpaceX. He lived with minimal comfort, sometimes sleeping on the factory floor. He had to go through public doubt, near bankruptcy, and also intense pressure. But he was so focused on his goal decades ahead. That is the definition of long-term thinking. Think of Serena Williams. She played tennis since she was 3 years old. So instead of partying, she was relentlessly training, and all of that effort did not go to waste. Over 3 decades, she has got Grand Slams and she is so successful now, all because she put in that effort since she was 3 years old. So the top 1% are focused on the long-term gain, not short-term gratification. Number 4 is they have a high internal locus of control. Now, what does that mean? The top 1% believe that they are in control of their life, not their circumstances, their life. So this is the belief that your actions, behaviors, and efforts shape your future. So they don't blame bad luck or their circumstances or the government or this person or that person. They don't play the victim here. They don't do none of that. They don't have the victim mindset. They have a winner's mindset. So when life throws a curveball at them, they just think, what can I learn from this? Or what can I do about this situation? They take full ownership of the outcome. So if something goes wrong, they think, okay, what can we do about this? What are the solutions? They know that failing is just learning what doesn't work. And if they succeed, they just replicate and refine. They trust their ability to influence results rather than waiting on some third person to come and save them. So if we compare the top 1% with those of external locus of control, who often feel powerless and victimized, I can't succeed because of where I came from. The system is keeping me stuck. Nothing ever goes my way. This kills a momentum before it even begins. They know that life isn't always fair, but they don't wait for fairness. They just use what they have, take action, and adapt as and when needed. They ask better questions and stay resourceful because they know that they are the CEO of their life. They are in control and they take full responsibility for their actions. Number 5 is they have grit. They have this internal fire that is burning inside of them. This relentless perseverance to keep showing up even when things are uncertain, even when things are dark, even when it's boring and hard. It's not about how fast you go. It's not even about how perfect you are. It's about how long you're willing to stay in the game when everyone else quits. The thing about the top 1% is they dig deeper when everyone else is giving up because it's too long, it's too tiring, it's too hard, it's too boring. They dig their heels in deeper and they find solutions. When everyone gets too comfortable, they lean in and they put their foot on the gas pedal and they keep going when there's no applause, no one watching, because they're driven by something deeper than motivation. They have the power of commitment. So the top 1% show up when it's inconvenient. They stay focused when everyone else is distracted, and they choose discipline and consistency again and again. Grit isn't glamorous. It's grinding through setbacks, silence, and self-doubt. But it's also what separates those who start to those who finish. The top 1% aren't the most talented. They're just the ones that never stop. Number 6, be obsessed or be average. Now, the top 1% are obsessed with the game. They are obsessed with becoming the best in their field, and they're obsessed with their vision. They live, breathe, and move with purpose. They are obsessed with becoming the best version of themselves, obsessed with growth, obsessed with turning their dreams into a reality. So while others are seeking balance and moderation, the top 1% are diving all in. They study, they train, they refine, because good isn't good enough. They want to be the best. They want to master the craft, outwork their past self and any of their peers, and leave a legacy behind. And this level of obsession doesn't come from ego. It comes from wanting to be the best version of themselves, having that vision and holding true to it, because they see what's possible and they refuse to settle for anything less, because most people are interested, but the top 1% are obsessed. Number 7, collaborate instead of compete. Top 1% know a powerful truth that you go further when you go together. While most people are wasting their time comparing, competing, trying to outshine each other, high performers collaborate. They don't see others as a threat. They see others as allies, partners, mentors. They know that real power lies in connection, not in competition. So they share ideas, they lift each other up, and they build a network. The top 1% understand that just because somebody else is winning, it doesn't mean that you can't be successful too. They know that there is enough wealth to go around. Top 1% seek out rooms that challenge them. They learn from others, contribute value, and they grow faster because they know that they are part of something bigger than themselves. So remember, alone you can go fast, but together you go far. Number 8 is the top 1% know their why. They have a clear purpose. They operate from a place of deep clarity and purpose. They know their why. They know exactly what their purpose is behind what they are doing, because when motivation fades, they remember that why, and that is what pushes them forward. And they're driven by a vision that is bigger than themselves, whether that's breaking generational curses, or it's changing lives, or proving what's possible, or just to create something that outlives them and leave a legacy behind. And that clear purpose gives them focus, direction, and resilience. Because when you know your why, you'll figure out your how on the way, and then you'll become unstoppable. Number 9 is they take calculated risks. The top 1% aren't afraid to take risks. They take calculated risks. They know that growth requires risk, and that is why they have to think strategically before making any moves. So they analyze, they prepare, they weigh the upside and the downside, and that is when they make their decision. They do all the research, they play out the scenarios, and they ask themselves, what is the cost of action and what is the cost of inaction? Number 10 is they have a duty to serve. The top 1% understand that it's not about what you achieve, it's about who you can help whilst getting there. They feel a deep sense of responsibility towards other people, whether that's sharing knowledge, creating opportunities, or just creating a platform to have a huge impact on other people. And the top 1% understand that there is no point of all this wealth if they cannot take other people with them and they're just hoarding it for themselves. So they give, they lead, and they contribute because they want to lead a legacy. It's not built on titles and trophies. It's built on how many people's lives you have touched. So to join the top 1%, you need to become obsessed with becoming the best version of yourself, obsessed with learning new skills, obsessed with serving other people so that you can leave a legacy behind. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If I sounded a bit funny in this one, I do apologize. I am still sick, but I'm getting better. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I will see you in my next one.